Ndị be anyị ndewonu nke onye chiri ya zere. Azị nke ọmaka meelu unu n'ụbọchị nke tata. Maka na egwu adịghị atụ afọ wee buru ụzọ. A sị na nwa agụ adịghị ata ahịfịa. Na unu nwa bụkwa ụmụ agụ na unu agakwa ata ahịfịa. Wee na-asị ka ife ọma meela anyị tata ebe ọbụla anyị nọ. Wee na-asị ka ekene m agwụ nkene ezumezu agwụ m niile. Kene chimo na ikenga. Kene mmụọ niile nọ n'ala Igbo afịa na-anọ izu na-anọ. Ekenekwa m. Kene ezumezu na ọra mmụọ niile so mbịa ụwa wee sị ka ntị niile na-ege ozi anụwa ka ọ metala ha mkpụrụ na ndụ ha. Good morning. Today we are going to talk about powerful spiritual trees. What are these powerful spiritual trees? They are trees that come by themselves and they may not be planted by humans. The majority that I have seen were not planted by humans. They sprang out by themselves because they were spirits and they are sent by spirits to dwell with the awakened one, with the chosen one. Especially if you have a call to serve. Over a period of time, once you are in alignment with all your spirits, these spiritual powerful trees will start coming out from the ground wherever you are. Every chosen one, every dibia, onye akpọlọlụ, has a spiritual tree that is aligned with their destiny, that is aligned with that their okpukpoku. Because we call them mmụọ na-apụ apụ. They have their own role to play. We have so many of them. We have ORIJI. We have NGWÜ. We have Ojukwu, Akpụ, Osisi Ọfọ, Ebenebe, Ogilisi, Ọra, Ụdara, Ugidi, Akụebilisi, Ugbodoga, Inyi, Ọgbụ, Ewufulu, Akpalata, Nnochie, and many more. These trees, you have to find out through Afa, the one that comes with your spirit. Are you listening? These trees, they come by themselves, but also could be planted by humans, but spiritually powerful humans. So it is very important to know your own trees because you will need them along the journey of liberating people. You also appease them as well. Ana-enye ha oke ha. Ọ ga-abụ n'ala Igbo na-anya fụ ụfọdụ osisi amala akwa white. Those are spiritual trees because they do works of goodness ordinarily for us. And they are members of our Arabonago. So we appease them. We also include them in our daily libations. Igo Jimo, Bigo Fotutu. You have to mention their names if you have them. Acknowledge them. You can't cut them. You can't cut them anyhow because if you do that, the spiritual repercussion is very severe. But if it happened that the tree is growing somewhere that is not convenient, there are ceremonies you do. You have to call a dibia that can relocate it. After doing that ceremony, the tree will go down by itself, or you'll be given permission to cut it. Then it will start growing elsewhere. It has to be relocated spiritually. That is why you call the dibia. You don't just go there ordinarily and start cutting that tree. It might lead to someone's death, illness, except maybe you did that ignorantly, but still there is repercussion for that. So the reason why the cloth is tied on them is to cover their nakedness. These trees are very powerful. So therefore, you have to look for your own and take care of it. Because you as a person, you are planted by Ani. Anibunu. And you can't be taken down by anyone, just like your trees. None of these trees that I mentioned should be taken down without due consultations with powers that be. The same thing goes for the bearer. Onye ndị osisi ahụ na-akwụdoro na mmụọ nwa dibịa. Ịma na tupu ife eme dibịa, ị ya ama n'ebe isi wee metụ dibịa aka. So let's start with ORIJI, the Iroko tree, the spiritual tree. ORIJI is an ancestral spirit, or what you call deity. ORIJI, osisi ORIJI, represents God of wealth. ORIJI is an ancestral spirit that is in charge of wealth in a family or kindred. So as you grow up in your father's compound and notice that you have ORIJI in your family or kindred, it is the ancestral spirit in charge of the family wealth. Maka ndị na-eji egbutu ukwu ORIJI, ị ga-afụ na that family enwe ndaghachi azụ, poverty abịazi amakụọ ha. They will start living from hand to mouth. So that is why you have to be careful. Don't do things out of ignorance. You see, that family is blessed with wealth. Members of that family are not meant to be poor. It is an error for anyone from that family to be poor. But some families have been deceived into cutting down ORIJI trees, or you neglect them spiritually, thereby you get poorer and poorer every day. ORIJI reincarnates human. ORIJI ọ na-anọlụ mmadụ ụwa. Anyone ORIJI reincarnate is internally rich. Even his or her generations will partake in the wealth. They will be a source of wealth to their generation. Lots of wealthy people you see in this world that you are thinking they did money ritual, no, they did not. It is because they had connection with ORIJI, the deity. They are in good terms with the spirit. Out of ignorance, you'll be fighting a source of wealth without knowing the person is only in good terms with the family's ancestral spirit. The people who don't know Igbo spirituality will deceive you into destroying the natural positive energies given to you by Chukwu to help you in this life. And once they do that, they leave you to suffer and you become poor. Lots of families are poor today because they cut down their family ORIJI tree. No more progress. You see, when you lead pastors, evangelists, prayer warriors, prophets, the deputy Jesus, the bulldozer, to destroy your fathers or grandfathers, he can go for, or family ancestral spirits, or even ORIJI, because they claim it is evil foundation and altars and turn thing bad. Are you aware your family is the cause of this misfortune? And the Aroka will leave you to suffer till you die. Because then, after cutting these trees, the family starts experiencing lots of problem because you destroyed yourselves out of ignorance. That tree stands for the family, represents the family, protects the family. There are spiritual benefits from that tree, but out of ignorance, because they saw fake prophecy, because they brainwashed you, because you people are fond of demonizing your ancestors who only did it for the good of their unborn generation. I will always counsel people, the one that you have investigated and researched on, that you find out that the reason behind that is for evil purpose. That is when you have to say no to it. That is when you have to fight tooth and nail to stop the evil. Be it the way of tradition or a deity that is used for evil. Let me not digress. Stop cutting your ancestral trees because these trees are spirits. No one plants them. They spring up on their own. They are in your family because Okike assigned them to be there to help you in life. You are not more intelligent than your ancestors who venerated them. Neither are you more spiritual than your ancestors. So stop allowing Western practice religionists, ideologists, imperialists to confuse you. Go back to your roots and follow our African tradition and spirituality so that you will have a peace of mind. That is what I'm saying. That is what I'm advising, so that you will not have problems, because there are certain things you do that you bring about problem to yourself. You see some of these trees, They are very, very useful, and they can serve as incense. But I'm coming to that. Let's talk about Akpu Oshimiri, the marine warlord. Akpu Oshimiri is the marine strongest deity. It's a tree that grows out from the water. It is responsible for attacking and defense. The tree is very tall with smooth body and always tied with white cloth. In the spiritual world, Akpu is the strongest deity that other spirits are afraid of due to its spiritual function. We have two types of Akpu. In case you go to Afa and you are told that Akpu is one of your Muanapu, the spiritual tree, know that we have Akpu deities, the ancestral warlord, and Akpu Oshimiri, the marine warlord. Akpu deities is not too tall but has a scary body, while Akpu Oshimiri is very tall with non-scary body, very smooth, and it's always tied with white cloth. The two spirits have the same function in the spiritual world but looks different in physical form. Every shrine has its own Akpu deity. In spiritual form, Akpu and Ngene are like soldiers on their own with subordinates that can easily attack when there is any problem. Every river has its own Akpu Oshimiri. The Akpu Oshimiri is like marine soldier that can be used by Eze Nwanyi Mmiri, Nne Nwanyi Ogugu, to carry out any particular function. Every Ogbanje has spiritual connection with Akpu Oshimiri. For you to go for river sacrifice, that's Olummiri Jelu Olummiri, you must also do the sacrifice of Akpu Oshimiri. To sacrifice to Akpu Oshimiri, it is being given white male fowl with eatable content like that of land sacrifice. So, not being in good terms with Akpu Oshimiri as Onye Ogbanje, it will block favors and progress from locating you. And the Akpu itself can easily attack you with heart pain, neck pain, and can easily cause accidents for you. Many people who are Ogbanje don't know what is Akpu Oshimiri, and the spirit has been blocking their sacrifice from being answered due to not being in good terms with this spirit. So try to be in good terms with your incarnator river. Mmiri sogi webi ụwa, mmiri chigi. Akpu Oshimiri sochigi, to allow your sacrifice to become accepted. So if you are told that you have a spiritual tree, you have to be careful. Some of them, their pictures are on Google. But some, if you go to Obu, where a Dibia stays, or where a Dibia lives, you will see those trees growing out by themselves, especially Dibias who are in the village that have vast land. After a while, you see these trees coming out by themselves from the soil where that Dibia is, especially a good Dibia, especially a Dibia that works with a clean heart, clean spirit. Let's talk about NGWÜ. Osisi NGWÜ, the spiritual tree. NGWÜ is one of Igbo's ancestral deity. It comes in form of tree and no one plants it. We have NGWÜ Ndị Ichie and NGWÜ Ndị Mmiri. Any family or kindred that has Osisi NGWÜ, evil people cannot penetrate there, cha-cha, and no charm planted there can work. If your family has NGWÜ, automatically you have, number one, charm protector. It protects you because it is charm on its own. Number two, it protects against gunshot because it is a natural bulletproof. This is if you know how to activate it. Our forefathers respected Osisi NGWÜ a lot because it is alosi or agbara, as some people will say in their language, on its own. Any family that has ancestral spirit, no form of charm can work on any member of that family or even in their family. If anyone bury charm or come into that family with charms, it will be destroyed immediately. This is one of those things you know about people Ogwadatu. It is because that they have NGWÜ, spiritual tree. It is one of their backing spirit. Osisi mmụọ ha. Especially in their akpọrọ family. Debere NGWÜ as mmụọ. This ancestral deity is one of the ancestral deity that works against okite charms. So ọ bụrụ na unu nwere NGWÜ, ife ọbụla gbasara ọgwụ okite, ọma nlụlụ gị ọlụ, because NGWÜ hates okite and any other form of charms. If you come from a family that has this ancestral spirit, no need of acquiring charms. So, maka na ọma nlụlụ gị ọlụ, iweta ya inwebe nsogbu, ma ndị na-eje esu ncha awele. That is why most times you are told to acknowledge your spiritual guides. Give them what they want. If it is 3 months, every 3 months or 6 months or 1 year, make sure you energize your spiritual guide. You energize your zumezu na ọra mmụọ. Fana alụlụ gị fefa kwesị ịlụ gị naturally. You see, that is why when you go to afana agba afa, asị na onye agwọrọ ọgwụ ọjọọ, ma ọ na chi gwọrọ ajọ ọgwụ. It is because of this. You don't know that you have NGWÜ tree in the spirit. So ebeze na afa na agba na afa. Na onye anụnwa na ọ gwọrọ ọgwụ. Ndị nwa na-anwụ true to God. Ma akwa m ọgwụ amara m kenwa. So you have to be careful. If you come from this family that has this ancestral spirit, no need of acquiring charms because it will not work. NGWÜ is a natural odeshi. I mean the one the kindred or family do venerate. Nke a na-achụrụ aja. NGWÜ is one ancestral spirit or deity that also you use white clothes to tie around it. When you tie the white clothes, you na-ekpuchi ọtọ ya. And when you do that, NGWÜ will bless you. It will function ×7 because you have acknowledged it. Ịma osisi mmụọ akwa, ọ na-adị oke mkpa, ọ dị mma. The reason is because of the spiritual purity and power it possesses than other ancestral spirits. When you have a problem, just use ORIJI to speak in the presence of NGWÜ. The problem will be solved immediately. Some families have cut down their NGWÜ tree and it brings suffering to the family. Setback. A lot of things. Evil people do not go close to NGWÜ because of its power. Some church leaders do not cut NGWÜ tree by themselves. They usually use insiders because they know the spirit must fight back. By then, the insiders will be the people suffering it because they are the people that hit cutlass on the tree. NGWÜ reincarnates humans. When it reincarnates a person, that person will be given name by NGWÜ. That is why you see some families, they answer one NGWÜ, Ume NGWÜ, and so on and so forth. Like my name, Dibia NGWÜ. NGWÜ Kambo. Because we have NGWÜ in our kindred and family. NGWÜ reincarnated my great-grandfather, grandfather, and father and named them all NGWÜ. That is our original surname. If I find Azana Bo, but because of Christian imported religion, they changed our name to Uchendo. My own late father was a very deep spiritual human. Nothing takes him unaware. He was very strong. He can fight 10 people same time and defeat them. He was fearless, very kind, very prosperous, yet rejected his call to serve as a dibia because of Christian religion. He took shelter in Celestial Church to avoid serving the deity. He had accidents before his death, yet he survived them because the spirit of NGWÜ protected him till the last day Chukwu called him. Also, my mom told me how she gave birth to me, that I came to this world with my first tooth intact. A very big mystery. Only 9 months in the womb. So she couldn't breastfeed me for long because of my tooth. Ezenu nankani. Apotagoli 9 months. That was how she knew I was choosing to serve. Plus, ihe ndị ọzọ ọ kọrọ mmelie mgbe ọ dị ime m. She said when she was pregnant of me, it was as if there are so many people in her stomach. Even at night, when she's sleeping, she says she feels that she's somewhere else. They will take her to somewhere, and there are some spirits will be ministering to her. That whenever she wakes up, she will become afraid, and she'll be asking, what is happening to me? What kind of pregnancy is this? Because my own, her pregnancy of me was different from others. Do you understand? And she says that some spirits do come and minister to her and talk to her. And she will be like, what's all this? But before they will talk to her, they will greet me first. Before they start talking to her, they tell her not to be afraid, that she will deliver very well, that this child has a destiny, that I am called to serve, that I will be a dada, so many things. And all these things came to pass. She said that when she gave birth to me, that day, all the let me not digress. Ngundi Ichie protects every member of any kindred that has Ngu. And Ngundi Miri protects every person that is a mariner. In the olden days, when a child is born, after Izuasa, 28 market days, the child will be taken to Ngu to present the food. That child will be taken to Ngu to present the child. And food will be cooked. Goats, fowls will be killed and used to cook the yam for merriment. But the one that will be presented to Ngu must be roasted. Ana arolia ji anoko. Because Ngu bụ oke mmụọ, ọ dịghị eri nri esiri n'ite. Ife ọbụna anwụrụ, ife anwụrụ na ọkụ ka ọ na-eri. In some places in Igbo land, women doesn't eat food or meat presented to Alusi Ngu as well. Then the baby or babies are highly protected against all kinds of evil. No disease killing babies will come near him or her. No charm will walk on him or her. Just like my mother said, even though she cannot continue breastfeeding me for 3 months. Because she said she feels pain that whenever I'm sucking the breast, the teeth will be digging into her nipple. So she stopped breastfeeding me immediately. They were all thinking that I would die. But from that end, I started growing mysteriously. As if some people come to feed me as a baby in the dream. They were all looking at me to dry up and all that. But for where? Now that is where I will be happy. That sometimes I will just be doing whereas nobody is feeding me. It's the mystery of life. Yes. So until after some time, my father had to tell her, let's look for formula now. Let's do this, let's do that. Before my mother complied. And they had to look for formula. She even said that when they started giving me formula, I started becoming sickly. They were like, what kind of baby is this? So let me not digress, but I want to advise people today to stop destroying your ancestral spirit because they work in your favor. Just be in good terms with them. Ask, research about it. What can I do? What does Ngu accept? So, but some of you see your father, your great-grandfather, or your grandfather doing some things where this kind of trees are. You will not pay attention. You will just be looking at him. Look at this demonic man. Look at this fetish man. Until he's no more. You will now know that what he was doing then wasn't fetish, because by then you have been passing through problem. And when you go to Alpha to inquire, they will tell you that you have not been feeding your spirit and all that. Because those days that our forefathers feed those spirits, we are meant to learn from them, to continue from where they stopped. But due to Western education, Western ideology, everything about us, we say is bad, is evil. That only the white people can shine the light for us. You see it? And I ask, how can you forsake your originality because of other people? Those other people you are copying, did they copy your own? Did they copy yours? Some do copy ours, but they use it for a higher purpose which you would have said, hey, obukwa na mma, I would not have neglected my own. I would have found more ways to enhance what we have and start using it to better the society, because that is how it should be. So stop destroying your ancestral spirit, your ancestral trees. They work in your favor. Just be in good terms with them and you enjoy your life. This is how Igbos communicated with Chukwu. We recognize Chukwu because we are deeply in tune with nature. We are deeply spiritual. Do you understand? So that is it. NGWÜ also is a supernatural charm. Is a supernatural charm that stands on its own. Our forefathers, they believe strongly on Osisi NGWÜ, and these are kindred for protection. And a lot of them answer the name as a kindred surname for general protection. I will also tell you that NGWÜ has a special work in the kindred. It protects the kindred from evil attack. Among ancestral deities like Udo, Ogugu, Ngene, Akpu, ORIJI, Akwali Omumu, NGWÜ is the only tree that stands as spiritual bulletproof, a gun deflector, even in real life and in spiritual. Anybody that NGWÜ reincarnates is higher. Such person is higher than charm in spirit realm and can never put hands into charm. You see, don't allow pastors, reverend fathers, and the amumoya to send you to an early grave by forcing you to cut down your kindred tree, NGWÜ, Osisi NGWÜ. Because they say a lot of terrible things against NGWÜ that make people to see it as an evil tree, but it is not so. So don't even try to go and cut any ancestral NGWÜ tree, NGWÜ ndị ichie ma ọ bụ nke ọbụla, because death awaits the person. You'll be afflicted with incurable disease. The kindred, if I'm not qualified, because they'll be facing challenges that will affect their children and unborn generation. Many people are facing up and down in anything they do, and many more because of this, tampering with that spiritual tree. I will always tell you, you have spiritual connection with NGWÜ and must be in good terms with ancestral NGWÜ. NGWÜ is the only deity among others in the kindred that hates Okite. And it can kill such an ignorant person that indulges in it. Osisi mmụọ gị bụ NGWÜ, iweje na-agwọ ọgwụ je na-ebute oke ite cham ka iwe na-azụ ka afịa ife na-agazili sharp and most oke ite ejikwa human part eme ifụkwalịa na-alụ ka ọ bụ for onye ọbụla nwere NGWÜ na mmụọ osisi mmụọ ma na family ha. You better be careful because o nwere ike igbu gị ọkụgodu gị ọya first before iwe yala wee nwụrụ. Be very careful. Just be in good terms with your ancestral NGWÜ for total protection. Maka na Igbo kwuru okwu si ọma egbu NGWÜ mma adịkwana ya nkọ. So these spiritual trees are very important. Very, very important. Very, very important. You don't have to joke with them. You have to know that they stand for something in the spiritual. If you don't know that they stand for something in the spiritual, don't go and make that mistake of participating in cutting them down. Don't ever do that. Don't. It will bring calamity to somebody's life. It will bring setback. It will bring lots of debt, poverty. Even there will be scarcity of children for some who are not aware. We go kuchizi abolonya mafadi na amuzina mwa. Ife ọma na-agazile fafa na-enwe nsogbu n'aka nri na aka ekpe. Ihe ọbụla ha tinyere aka, ọhụrụ nke ga na-aga. So ka anyị kpachara aka n'anya o, anyị kpachapụ aka n'anya, anyị ghara ịdaba n'aka ndị ajọ mmadụ na a na-eme ihe a. The next that I'll talk about is osisi ofo. so that you know what osisi ofo does, and also ojugwu, so that you will know that they are all spiritual trees.